जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन ब्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन ब्रज जनरञ्जना जमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरों वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सकना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनदारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। मैत्रेय उवाच प्रजापतेर्दुहितारं शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुव उपयेमे भ्रामिं नाम तत्सुतौ कल्पवतारौ। मैत्रेय उवाच प्रजापतेर्दुहितारं शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुव उपयेमे भ्रामिं नाम तुसतौ कल्पवत्सरौ। मैत्रेय उवाच प्रजापतेर्दुहितारं शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुव उपयेमे भ्रामिं नाम तत्सुतौ कल्पवत्सरौ। प्रजापतेर्दुहितारं शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुव उपयेमे भ्रामिं नाम तत्सुतौ कल्पवत्सरौ। माताजी। मैत्रेय उवाच प्रजापतेर्दुहितारं शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुव उपयेमे भ्रामिं नाम तत्सुतौ कल्पवत्सरौ। Would you like to try? Maitreya uvaच प्रजापतेर्दुहितारं शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुव उपयेमे भ्रामीं नाम तत्सुत कल्पवत्सरौ प्रजापते दुहितारम् शिशुमारस्य वै ध्रुवा उपयेमे भ्रमीं नाम तत्सुतो kalpavatsaro. Word to word translation, please repeat after me. Maitreya Vacha. The great sage Maitreya continued. Prajapate of the Prajapati. Duhitaram, daughter. Shishumarasya of Shishumara. Vai, certainly. Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj. Upayeme, married. Brahmin, Brahmi. Nama, named. Tatsutau, her sons. Kalpa, Kalpa. Vatsaro, Vatsara. Translation: The great Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, thereafter Dhruva Maharaj married the daughter of Prajapati Shishumar, whose name was Brahmi, and two sons named Kalpa and Vatsara were born of her. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears that Dhruva Maharaj married after being installed on the throne of his father and after departure of his father to the forest for self-realization. It is very important to note in this connection that since Maharaj Uttanapad was greatly affectionate towards his son, and since it is the duty of a father to get his sons and daughters married as quickly as possible, why did he not get his son married before he left home? The answer in that is that Maharaj Uttanapada was a Raj Rishi, saintly king. Although he was busy in his political affairs and duties of government management, he was very anxious for self-realization. Therefore, as soon as his son Dhruva Maharaj was quite worthy to take charge of the government, he took this opportunity to leave home, just like his son, who without fear left home for self-realization even at the age of 5 years. These are rare instances from which we can understand and we can see that the importance of spiritual realization is above all the other important work. Maharaj Uttanapad knew very well that his son Dhruva Maharaj married was not, to get his son Dhruva Maharaj married was not so important, that it should take preference to his going away to the forest for self-realization. So, the purport is highlighting the importance of renunciation, where Prabhupada is making this point that Maharaj Uttanapad could have waited for his son to get married, as it's a proper, it's generally seen in the society that the father is very anxious to get his sons and daughters married, and even it's a part of Grahast ashram that you see your sons and you see your progeny getting married. You make sure that they're well settled, and then you move to the next phase of the ashram, which is Vanaprastha. But we see that so Prabhupada says that so Dhruva Maharaj married was not so important that it should take preference to his going away to the forest for self-realization. So we see that Uttanapad Maharaj is renouncing, although he did it after his sons grew up. You brahmacharis have done it rather early, but this is an example of renunciation. So what exactly is renunciation? Because we see in Bhagavatam, renunciation is a topic which has been highlighted a lot of times, even by 5-year-old children like Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. What exactly is the meaning of renunciation? Because we see Hiranyakashipu, he renounced his entire kingdom, and for 100 celestial years he was doing austerities, standing on his toes with his hands raised, and so much so that his austerities were creating heat which was unbearable for the entire creation, and there were ant hills which were which were all over his body, and um, the ants and other animals were eating his flesh away. But what exactly is renunciation? Because we see after his austerities and after he renounced everything, just like Punar Charvita Charvitana, where he, although he externally had given up everything to do the austerities, but his desire was to gain even more. He wanted to become immortal, and he did austerities to please Lord Brahma and beget a boon from him. So what was Hiranyakaship's austerities? I mean, his, technically speaking, his renunciation was way more than any of us here. Um, but what was his intention behind that renunciation? And what was the renunciation of Sri Prahlad Maharaj, who at an age of 5, he was fearless. He would preach his father, Tat sadhu manya survarya dehinam. Now he would ask his father that, you should renounce everything and go to the forest, and you should you should bathe with the dust of the foot dust of of the devotees' lotus feet. That is his fearlessness. That is his renunciation of fear. That just by whose eyebrows, when Hiranyakashipu would just lift his eyebrows, demigods like Indra, Varuna, Mitra would fear. If any of you raise your eyebrows, even if an ant moves, or with fear, or even if anything happens, but when Hiranyakashipu would just move his eyebrows, the entire creation would tremble. So this was a renunciation. So we see Hiranyakashipu over here. He's so renounced. He gave up everything and he did austerities for 100 celestial years, and he was able to get a boon, only to get more attached to the material manifestation, to lord over the material manifestation. You would think that, Brahma, Lord Shiva has renounced everything and he's busy in meditation. Lord Brahma is the one who has given me the boons, and Vishnu is hiding from me in fear of me. He is hiding in the hearts of his devotees, which is true. He is in the hearts of his devotees, but he would think like that. So I am the Lord of the creation, and I am the master. And there were stotras and stutis written in the name of Hiranyakashipu. There were artis and temples built in the name of Hiranyakashipu. Indra, Aruna, Varuna, all of these demigods would tremble by the name of Hiranyakashipu. They would serve Hiranyakashipu. When Lord Narsingadev appeared, and there was the great battle between Hiranyakashipu and Narsingadev, and Lord Narsingadev, with just his nails, he was just moving his fingers, and he was wiping the entire army of Hiranyakashipu. And when Narsingadev appeared, and when Hiranyakashipu and Narsingadev were fighting, the demigods were cheering for Narsingadev. And then when when the demigods were cheering for Narsingadev, the demigods were then Hiranyakashipu would look at the demigods, saying that you're partying with Lord Narsingadev, and they would fear and they would hide behind the clouds, just in case if Hiranyakashipu wins, what happens then? He'll see that we were supporting Narsingadev. So even in that stage, demigods were in a fix. There was lack of faith in them, we can say. But Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakashipu asked, "Where do you get your powers from?" he said, "The same place where you get your powers from." It is like the worst thing for an egocentric person, a puffed up person, to tell him. It's like telling India, "Where do you get your powers from?" From Pakistan. Your worst rival is the source of your powers. That is like the worst insult for Hiranyakashipu. And he tells Prahlad Maharaj, "Is your Lord in this pillar?" And Prahlad says that he's everywhere, and he's also in this pillar. And Narsingadev from it's like a it's like a curtain call. He's indicating to Prahlad Maharaj, "I'm ready." And Prahlad Maharaj, with love and devotion, he looks at the pillar. He sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He sees his Lord, and Hiranyakashipu smashes the pillar, and the Lord comes out. We see that is the power of renunciation of Prahlad Maharaj, a 5-year-old boy. So many people do so much kirtan in kirtan melas, the Lord doesn't come. But just a simple statement of Prahlad Maharaj. Bhagavatam, says Tava Britya Bhashita. I'm forgetting the verse, but it says that just to fulfill the desire of his devotee, the Lord manifested in the form of a half man, half lion incarnation. So we see Hiranyakashipu on the other hand is seeming to be so renounced. But on the other hand, Prahlad Maharaj didn't do any austerities for 100 celestial years. He did not torment his body. No anthills were formulated around his body when he was doing austerities. But still, the love and devotion in his heart was something which dragged the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the abode of Vaikuntha to not even to the palace, but to the pillar in the palace of Hiranyakashipu, the great esteem. Let's take in another example, and another example would be, and saying if someone, so I remember from actually let's just take this the example of Amrish Maharaj, where Amrish Maharaj was a grahastha, and there was the Ekadashi Vrat happening, and it was time to break the fast. Are you all familiar with the context? So there was a king who was doing an Ekadashi Vrat. Ekadashi is the 11th day of fasting in the month Vaishnavas do, and this Ekadashi Vrata was done by Amrish Maharaj for the welfare of his entire kingdom. He was the emperor of the world, and it was time of fast breaking time. There's a specific time the next day, Dwarshi. There's a specific time you have to break your fast. So if you don't break your fast in that time period, it is said that you lose the whole credit of performing the Ekadashi Vrat. So Durvasa, the incarnation of Lord Shiva, had come, and being the culture and being the custom, which is that you feed your guests before you yourself partake the prasad. So he said he requested Durvasa to please stay for prasad and do the paran together, fast breaking together. So Durvasa, he said that he'll go to the Ganges and he'll take a shower, he'll take a bath, and then he'll come back, and then he'll partake the prasad. But what happened was that when he went to the Ganges, he went into the state of samadhi, and over here Amrish Maharaj in the palace, the fast breaking time was coming to cease. So you have to do paran during that time. So Amrish Maharaj consulted with the Brahmanas, and they suggested that you drink water, because drinking water is breaking the fast, and at the same time you're not breaking the fast, because you had something but you actually did not have anything. Your body is 70% water, scientifically speaking. So it's like not breaking your fast but breaking your fast. So when Amrish Maharaj was was taking water, Durvasa, he was raged, and he was angered that how come this king who claims himself to be the emperor of the world, and someone who's given the charge to take care of the welfare of the society, is so negligent about the basic culture of feeding his guests, that he's partaking prasad, and he's breaking his fast without honoring me. So enraged, he goes to the palace of Amrish Maharaj, and with the intention that he wants to kill Amrish Maharaj. Such a ghastly attack on his ego, that how can he drink water in my absence? How can you drink water without honoring me, without feeding me? And he goes, he plucks. He's a great mystic. He's a great yogi. So he plucks. He takes out a strand of his hair and throws it on the ground, and a big, great fiery demon appears. Now, you don't have hair, but still, if you just take out a small hair particle of your shikha, let's see what happens. Drop it on the floor. Let's see what happens. The only thing would happen would be the other person would say, "Why are you contaminating the temple hall?" Nothing would happen. But Durvasa, such a great mystic, when he took her hair and he put it on the floor, the great fiery demon came. And Amrish Maharaj was so renounced. He didn't run after his life. He didn't run for his life. He didn't get agitated he just prayed to the Lord, and at that time, the great Sudarshan Chakra of Lord Vishnu manifested, and in a split second, it killed the fiery demon, and it ran behind. It started chasing Durvasa, and Durvasa running for his life. So now this is a great mystic, renounced yogi who doesn't have a family, wears saffron, who doesn't have anything in his life, in the materially speaking, in this world, but then still he's so attached to his life. He's running for his life. He's running to Satyaloka, to Brahma, and Brahma sees the Sudarshan Chakra and says, "This is beyond my power. I can't do anything." And he goes to to Lord Shiva's abode, and he says, "Please save me, save my life. I'm your expansion. I'm your expansion." But Lord Shiva says, "I can't do anything. This is Supreme Lord's weapon, and you go from here. You're an offender. You've done a Vaishnava Aparadh." And then he goes to the Vaikunta planet, the Supreme Lord's abode, and the Lord said that I reside in the hearts of my devotees. You've done an offense to, towards my devotee. I can't save you. That would be the first time that someone came in refuge of the Lord and the Lord rejected, because the Lord's devotees were offended. So Durvasa goes to Am- Amrish Maharaj and he begs at his lotus feet. And Amrish Maharaj wasn't proud of his devotion. "See my caliber. I made a renounced mystic yogi fall on his feet, fall on my feet, begging for his life." Amrish Maharaj was humbled and he prayed, "Oh Lord, if I've ever pleased you even a bit, then please take your Sudarshan Chakra back." And immediately the Sudarshan Chakra went back, vanished. So we see renounced personality like Durvasa. What is real renunciation? So with this example, we can understand that real renunciation is not just renouncing the worldly pleasures. It is actually renouncing your false pride. When our ideals are not aligned with the plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that means we are in false pride. That means we want something against the Lord's wishes. So, because we think we are somebody. So that is false pride. But when you think that you're just a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord, whatever Lord's plans are, you want to follow that. That is submission. That is surrender, and that is what the entire mood of Srimad Bhagavatam is. That's what we see in all the cantos, in all the chapters we see. So um, we see in Srimad Bhagavatam where Dhruv Maharaj's father is renouncing everything for a higher cause, for self realization. So the Journey Home, book written by Srila Radhanath Maharaj, what he points out is that so he has a bit of an experience now. We're talking about when he's in India. So he has a bit of an experience with the yogis in Himalayas who don't eat for days, who don't drink anything for days, and who are very renounced, to just survive on marijuana sometimes. So and they've got great mystic powers. Like Maharaj would say that he could see just yogis sitting in a circle, and some yogis in meditation, and a yogi suddenly goes 2 feet above the ground, and he's meditating against the gravity. Yeah, and he's actually doing that. There's no invisible thing, or there's no cloth hanging there, and they do it in a seclusion. So it's not to show the world or to get some fame. They're actually mystic yogis. They're able to do it. And Maharaj, when he for the first time he saw it, was like, an American 19-year-old boy coming to India and having that sort of an experience. And the other yogis are quietly sitting. They're not shocked, or they're not surprised seeing that. And Maharaj gets used to it. And then when he goes to Vrindavan, he meets there's a saint, Vishakha Sharan Baba, and he sees Vishakha Sharan Baba. He's not torturing his body. He's eating well. He's sleeping well. He's not doing any specific austerities per se. He's not doing any sadhanas, as in sadhanas to get mystical powers. But he's just living a normal life. But when he's speaking about Krishna, when he's speaking about Srimati Radharani, we just had Radha Ashtami 2 days back. the divine appearance of Srimati Radharani. So when he would speak about Srimati Radharani, he would just cry. He would just weep tears of love. And Radhanath Maharaj said that and that really touched his heart, because he could see genuine love towards God in what that saint would say, and in how that saint would have dealings with people. So, we see these two examples. One of the mystics in Himalayas, where they have great mystic powers, but and they are so renounced. But on the other hand, Vishaka Sharan Baba was living a normal life, but he was so renounced from the worldly affairs because he was so attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. Even Srimad Bhagavatam, Amrish Maharaj, it is described Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindo, that verse where it is described how in different ways Amrish Maharaj would serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His nose, he would engage his different sense organs in the service of the Supreme Lord. His mind, he would think about Krishna. With his eyes, he would see the divine beautiful form of the Lord. With his nose, he would smell the flowers and the incense offered to the Lord. With his ears, he would engage them in listening to the divine and transcendental literature like Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana. And with his mouth, he would engage in glorifying the Supreme Lord. His mind, he would engage in governmental affairs as the king. He would do it in a just. He would perform his duties in the just way, in the service of the Lord. So renunciation is where you're not attached to your false pride, but you're attached to being a medium of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We see Ramya Kachita Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the best type of bhakti performed, if bhakti has to be performed, it has to be done under the following the footsteps of gopis. And we see gopis, they would dress so opulently, they would dress so nicely. We see Srimati Radharani, she's actually she's a gopi of Raj, but she's dressed so nicely. Today she looks even better than Gopinath. So she these gopis dress so nicely, so opulently. Sabyasachi Lehenga would look like a rag in front of these gopis' gopi dress, and their cosmetics they would wear. Naika Meyer, they would look like talcum powder in front of the makeup which they would put. So such opulent dressing. But why would they dress? They would dress because Krishna gets happiness. Krishna is happy to see them look beautiful, and their beauty increases thinking about the fact that how much happiness they would give Krishna when Krishna would see them so beautifully dressed. And when Krishna sees them beautifully dressed, the gopis get happy, and their happiness increases, and then their happiness increases, and then Krishna's happiness increases, and the whole class can just go on who wins in this competition of increased happiness. So we see that the gopis, they're dressing nicely, not for themselves but for Krishna, and they're the greatest renunciants. In fact, they've renounced everything. They renounced in the dead of the night. They've renounced their family. They've renounced the culture. They've renounced shame. They've renounced everything, and they've just like how when a thief steals. Imagine you have $10 billion kept in your house, and a thief just came and he just stole it. Would you wait for the police to come, or would you just run behind and chase that thief? That was the condition of the gopis. So in the morning they would wear earrings, and earrings would look like the earrings were like guards. They were guards controlling, guarding the ears. But in the night, when the gopis would remove their earrings, they would remove their earrings and they would sleep, and Krishna would play on his flute. So now there's no guard guarding the ears. So when Krishna's flute, the sound of Krishna's flute is coming and is entering the ears of the gopis, there's no guard there. And now the thief is going inside the through the ear holes. He's going inside the heart, and he stole the heart of the gopis. The gopis are now waiting for anything. When Krishna's flute stole the hearts of the gopis ran. The gopis chased and ran to get the heart back. And they've in the middle, in the dead of the night, they're going to Krishna, and they're wanting to serve him, and they're wanting to please him. So they're the greatest renunciates. But speaking, externally looking at them, no one can say that they're great yoginis, but they're actually the masters and masters of the great yoginis. Yogis and yoginis perform millions of austerities for millions of years, just so that Shri Radha Gopinath comes in their mind, in their manas patil, even for a fraction of a second. So we see that what exactly is renunciation. It is anya abhilashita shunyam, that there is no other desire except pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Last, we sorry, in Chowpatty Temple, the construction work had just finished, and Gauranga Prabhu was taking a sigh of relief that finally all the construction and everything stopped, and now the temple is ready, and we can relax for a while. And His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj comes for an inspection, and he says, I want the temple halls to be air conditioned, and I want ducts. And Gauranga Prabhu says, anyway, half the people are sleeping in Srimad Bhagavatam class. You never know, after AC they come with a pillow also. So please, have some pity. The construction work has just finished. I don't think we need an AC. So Srila Radhanath Maharaj says, no, this is AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's temple. So we need AC. So, okay. Guru Mukha Padma Vaka Chitite Korite Akhya. So ACs are installed, and beautiful, lavish marbles from Italy were installed in the Chowpatty temple all over, and extra stocks of those marbles are kept, that in case in future if any marble or if any damage happens, you can replace them with new with the stock. So talking about renouncing, we have Goswamis who wouldn't sleep under a tree for more than 2 days, because they would say that we don't want to get attached to this tree, that this tree is mine. But then we see acharyas like Radhanath Maharaj having ACs in their halls. We also have ACs in our temple halls, which work during the festival times. We Radhanath Maharaj's Chowpatty temple, we see tiles are in stock. If in case something is, if damage happens, you can replace them. So is this really renunciation? Yes, it is, because it is. All of this is done for the service of Krishna. I remember when I was in India last month, and when I was in Vrindavan, I was seeing renounced Matajis and Prabhujis, and people in yellow and saffron, who have. I hope that I'm expect, just by their dressing we can see that they've renounced everything. But I was in Loi Bazaar. I was doing some shopping for my DTs, and I was seeing they were drooling over some American diamond jewelry of Radha Krishna jewelry, and they were drooling and they were bargaining with the shopkeepers to give them more jewelry to get the best price on that. So they themselves wouldn't adorn themselves with any expensive items, but then they would want costly 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 rupees worth dresses for their deities. We see Gopinath so lavishly wearing so many ornaments, and so lavishly wearing dresses, and even the flower garlands the entire day. Mataji's, after this we'll see Mataji's just sitting in there and just making intricate garlands for Gopinath. So is this really renunciation? Yes, it is, because it is all done for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. None of it is done for our own enjoyment. Everything is, we see Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he sings a very beautiful song, Manasa Deha Geha Joki Chumor Arpi Lutava Pade Nanda Kishore. So we see that Manasa Deha Geha Joki Chumur, everything we want to offer in the service of the Supreme Personality of God, and that's Yukta Vairagya. You engage whatever you can and accept whatever you can for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and use it in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's real renunciation. And we see Maharaj Uttanapad, that's what he's doing. He thinks that for his spiritual life, for the betterment, for the upliftment of his spiritual life, renouncing the material world, renouncing his family is better, and it's better than now that he was the king of the emperor of the entire creation. He he thinks that it's more feasible and it's more um, conducive for his spiritual life to renounce everything, and he's renouncing everything. Um, as a responsible father and a responsible emperor, enthroning Dhruva Maharaj as the next emperor, he's renouncing and he's going to the forest for his spiritual life. So, whenever it comes to the topic of renunciation, I think the Vaishnava perspective of it is to use this entire creation. The Lord is Jagannath, the jug, whatever you see in this creation, to be Krishna's property, and using that thing in Krishna's service and fulfilling and getting the perfection of our life. It is time. I think we should stop here. Any questions, comments, or feedback, suggestions? Yes, bro. So, to be honest, this seems to be a very technical question, and I didn't understand the question either. So, regulating the karma. The Lord, I think the Lord has given everyone their free will, and the Lord has also given intelligence. When a person decides that I want to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord gives intelligence. Tadami buddhi yugam tam yena mam upayanti te. Bhagavad Gita says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead guides through the intelligence, and externally He guides through Sri Guru, and that's how He guides you in your spiritual life, if that's what you were asking. But talking about demons like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, we see that even these demons are empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because these demons are actually Jaya Vijaya, and they're actually instruments in serving the Supreme Personality of God in His pastimes. Why don't we have these demons anymore? We've got a lot of demons in this material world, especially in the age of Kali, but demons who can control the weather. I mean, we are controlling the weather by causing global warming, but in an indirect way. But if actually there's a demon potent enough to go to Antarctica and demand a mango, then he is really empowered. But Hiranyakashipu could do that. If he would say that I want a mango in freezing cold weather, he would get a mango. If he would say I want in India you don't get coriander in summers, I guess I'm not sure. So if he says I want coriander chutney in summers, he would get it because he had that potency. So the Lord is instrumental in. So they're instrumental in facilitating the Lord's pastimes, and my understanding would be the Lord is empowering Hiranyakashipu. He's tolerating, and he's actually, because as Brahma, sometimes if there's no one to take the position of Brahma, the Lord Himself takes the position of Brahma. He manifests he further manifests, or as his Gunavatar Brahma, he's the one who's actually given him those boons to Hiranyakashipu. So he's, in an indirect way, he's the one who was actually empowered Why is Hiranyakashipu able to do all of this? Because he's got the boon of of Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma is Lord's Guna avatar. So the Lord is actually empowering Hiranyakashipu to create this havoc which he's creating, because the Lord has a plan. The Lord has a plan to glorify the the bhakti of Prahlad Maharaj. So in it, we don't see those examples of such extreme karmic empowerment anymore, because the Lord, because we are on our own accord. If we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if we surrender to Sri Guru, then the Lord is guiding us through Hari Guru and Shastra. But if we want to live a karmi life, the Lord says, okay, go for it. Because I was listening to this lecture, that if you decide that you want to surrender to the Lord will come to you in different ways. But if you decide that you don't want to surrender to the Lord, and if you want to live the life you want, the Lord actually facilitates that, and Bhagavad Gita confirms that. Krishna says, those who I cover their intelligence with Maya. I'm forgetting the verse, but there's a verse which says that for the materialists, he covers their intelligence with Maya, and the Lord makes sure that you don't see him. You know, we see Prahlad Maharaj was able to see the Lord in a pillar, but the Lord manifested in all his opulence in front of Hiranyakashipu, but he still didn't realize that it's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We see Kamsa, he could see Devaki Mata, the glow on her face when she was carrying Krishna in her womb, but he could realize that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his kala is there in the womb of Yashoda Mai, but he still couldn't do anything, and he still didn't change. His heart still didn't melt. His heart melted for a millisecond when he saw Devi Durga in all her opulence, but still we see that, you know, if you wish that you don't want to surrender to the Lord will make sure that you don't surrender to him. But if you wish that you want to take refuge at the lotus feet of the Lord comes as Sri Guru and guides you. Does that kind of answer your question? I know that's not exactly what you asked, but this is the farthest I can go. Rest you can ask senior devotees. I wouldn't know much, bro. Any other questions or feedback? Okay, we should stop. The time is 8:47. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.